equations. The length of a rectangle is 3x plus 1 centimeter. Its width is 3 centimeters shorter than its length. Given the area of the rectangle is 28 centimeters, find its length. Now here we form an equation based on the formula for finding the area of a rectangle, which is length times width. So you just multiply the values and equate the area being given. So it will be 3x plus 1 multiplied by 3x minus 2 is equals to 28. And then solving, you find that the length is equals to 7. Solve the simultaneous equations. Now here we shall use the first equation to make y the subject of the formula. When we have found y is equals to 2x minus 3, we substitute the value of y in the next equation, x squared minus xy is equals to 4 to negative 4, and then we solve and we find the answer is x is negative 1 or negative 4. We go back to our equation where we had made y the subject of the formula. It was y is equals to 2x minus 3, and then substitute the value of x there. When x is negative 1, y is equals to negative 5, and when x is negative 4, y is equals to 5. The length of a room is 4 meters longer than its width. Find the length of the room if its area is 32 meters squared. Now the area of a room is taken as length times width. Now if the width, let's say it is x, the length will automatically be x plus 4 because it has to be 4 meters longer than the width. So x plus 4 times x should be equal to 32. Solving, we find that x, the width, is 4 meters. So the length will be 4 plus 4, becoming to 8 meters. A retailer planned to buy some computers from a total of 1.8 million shillings. Before the retailer could buy the computers, the price per unit was reduced by 4,000 shillings. This reduction in price enabled the retailer to buy 5 more computers using the same amount of money as originally planned. Determine the number of computers the seller bought. Now, here you realize that if we take the original amount, 1.8 million, divided by the original number of computers wanted to buy, let's say it is x, and then subtract the amount from the number of computers actually bought, which will be 5 plus x, we have a price, we have a difference of 4,000. Now, if we solve that, we find that originally a retailer wanted to buy 45 computers, but since he bought 5 more, the computers that he actually bought were 50. Now, part B of the equation, we are told that 2 computers got damaged, and the rest was sold to make, and the retailer still made a profit of 15%. Now we have to calculate the profit the retailer made on each computer. If the cost of the computer was 1.8 million, and he made a profit of 15. It means that the seller, the retailer sold the computer at 115% of the cost price. If we do that, we get the sales price to be 2.07 million. Now the cost of 48 computers, we ignore two that were damaged. So the cost of 48 computers is 1.728 million. Subtract that from the sales price, 2.07 million. We get that the profit on the 48 computers is 342,000. Now divide that amount by the number of computers. Those are 48. It means that he made a profit of 7,125 on those 48 computers. A group of people planned to contribute equally towards a water project, which needed 2 million shillings to complete. However, 40 members of the group withdrew from the project. As a result, each of the remaining members was to contribute 2,500 shillings more. A. Find the original number of members in the group. Now, the original number, we shall take the amount they wanted to contribute, divided by the people who remain to contribute, less the amount divided by the original number of people, and then we equate it to 2,500. Then we solve that equation. When we solve, we find that the original number of the people was 200. Now, part B of the question we have been asked, 45% of the value of the project was funded by a constituency development fund. Calculate the amount of contribution that would be made by each of the remaining member of the group. Now, if 45 is funded by CDF, it means 55 will be funded by the group people who remain. So we take 55% of 2 million and we get it to be 1.1 million. Now divide by the number of people who remained, it is 160. Because originally there were 200, less 40 that we withdrew, we remained 160. So 160 will contribute 6,875. Then part C, we are asked, members' contribution were in terms of labor provided and amount and money contributed. If the ratio of the labor to the money contributed was 16 to 19, calculate the amount of money contributed by the members. Now 16 to 19, if you add that total ratio, the total ratio is 25. So we take 19. 19 represents money contributed all over 25 multiplied by the money that should have been contributed. That's 1.1 million. And we get that the money actually contributed was 836,000, and then the rest the members provided labor. A school planned to buy X calculators for a total cost of 16,200 shillings. The supplier agreed to offer a discount of 60 shillings per calculator. The school was then able to get 3 extra calculators for the same amount of money. Write an expression in terms of X for the original price of each calculator. Now, the original price for each calculator, you take the number of calculators, which is X. So 16,200 divided by X, that is the original price of each calculator. The price after a discount, that is part B, price of each calculator after a discount, we take 16,200 then divide by the number of calculators. The number of calculators is x plus 3. Part B, have been told, form an equation in x and then determine the number of calculators the school bought. Now the equation will be, if you subtract the number of calculators actually bought, sorry, the price of the calculators actually bought minus the original price before a discount, we should get 60 shillings. So that's the equation. Now solving the equation, we get that the original the original calculators to be bought were 27. Add 3 because the school bought 3 more after a discount. So 27 plus 3 is 30. So the number of calculators bought by school is 30. Part C says, calculate the discount offered to the school as a percentage. Now the discount was 60 and the calculators to be bought were 27. So 27 times 60, we get the price, the discount in amount. So it is 1,620 and the price is 16,200. So divide that and multiply by 100%. So you have 1620 divided by 16,200 multiplied by 100%, we get 10%. Find a quadratic equation whose roots are 1.5 plus the square root of 2 and 1.5 minus the square root of 2, expressing it in the form ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c are integers. Now first we have to write that x is equals to 1.5 plus the square root of 2, and x is also equal to 1.5 minus the square root of 2. Now bring the figures on the same side with x. We have x minus 1.5 minus the square root of 2 multiplied by x minus 1.5 minus the square root of 2x is equals to 0. Then solving, we find that our equation is 4x squared minus 12 plus 1 is equals to 0. A motorbike A travels at 10 km per hour faster than motorbike B, whose speed is x km per hour. Motorbike A takes 1.5 hours less than motorbike B to cover a 180 km journey. Write the expression in terms of x for the time taken to cover the 180 km journey by motorbike A, motorbike B. Now we know time is equals to distance divided by speed. So you can see the time taken by motorbike A is 180, which is the distance, and the speed divided by the speed x plus 10. The time taken by motorbike B is the distance 180 and the speed x. Divide those two, you get the time. But we have been told, use the expression in A above to determine the speed of motorbike A. Now this means that if you subtract the time taken by motorbike A minus that of B, you get the difference in their time to cover the distance, because we have been told motorbike A takes 1.5 hours less. 1.5 hours less, we can just write it as 3/2. So you can see the equation there. Then solving for the equation, we find that motorbike B takes 30 kilometer per hour to complete that journey. What about motorbike A that we have been asked? Motorbike B, it was x plus 10. X we have gotten as 30. So x plus 10 is 40. Motorbike B will take 40. Now we have been told the other part we have been asked, for a journey of 48 kilometer, motorbike B starts at 10 minutes ahead of motorbike A. Calculate in minutes the difference in the time of their arrival at the destinations. Now first we calculate the time they take to cover that distance, and then for A we add 10 minutes, and we shall find that the difference in their time is 14 minutes. The length of a garden is 2 meters less than twice its width. The area of the garden is 60 meters square. Calculate its length. Now we know area is length times width. Now we shall assume the width is x. Automatically the length will become 2x minus 2, because we have been told it is 2 meters less than twice its width. Now solving this equation, we get that the width is 6 meters. Now the length will be 2 multiplied by 6 minus 2, which gives us 10 meters. A hall can accommodate 600 chairs arranged in rows. Each has the same number of chairs. The chairs are rearranged such that the number of rows are increased by 5, but the number of chairs per row is decreased by 6. Find the original number of rows of chairs in the hall. That's N. Now the original number of chairs in the hall will be divide the total number of chairs per the rows to get the number of chairs per row. Now this is 600 divided by R, assuming that R is the number of rows. But we have been told if the number of rows is increased by 5, the chairs per row decrease by 6. So we shall take 600 over R minus 600 over R plus 5 should be equal to 6. And then solving this equation, we find that the original number of chairs per row is 20. Now, part B have been asked, after the arrangement, 450 people are seated in the hall, leaving the same number of empty chairs in each room. Calculate the number of empty chairs per room. Now, look at this way. We have been given there are 600 chairs, and we know after the arrangement, the rows, the chairs per row will be 24. Now, if 40 people are seated, it will mean per row we need 18 people. That is 450 divided by 25. Now, if you subtract 24 minus 18, we get 6 chairs. Those are the number of empty chairs per row. Neema did the Y tests and scored a total of 120 marks. She made more tests which she scored 13 and 14 marks. The mean score of the first Y test was 3 marks more than the mean score of all the tests she did. Find the total number of tests that she did. Now, she did the Y tests. and scored 120 marks. So the mean score of Y test, subtract the mean score of the Y test plus 2, which is 147, it will give us 3. Now solving this equation, you find that the value of y is equals to 5. Now later on she had done 2 tests. So if you take 5 plus 2, it means that she did a total of 7 tests. Solve the equation. X plus 3 all over 24 is equals to 1 all over x minus 2. Now if we solve this equation, we find that x is either 5 or negative 6. Part B, the length of a floor of a rectangular hole is 9 meters more than its width. The area of the floor is 136 meters square. Calculate the perimeter of the floor. Now, first we shall use the variable we have been given. We have been told that the length is 9 meters more than the width. Now, assume the width is x, the length will automatically be x plus 9. Now, multiply x plus 9 multiplied by x, you get that area we have been given of 136 meters square. Now, solving for x, we find that x, which is the width, is 8 meters. Now the length we have been told is 9 meters more than the width. So we shall add 8 plus 9 to get 17. Now we know perimeter is length is 2 into length plus width. So if we input the variables 2 into length, which is 8 plus 9, and the width, which is 8, and compute, we get that the perimeter is 50 meters. B part 2, we have been asked, a rectangular carpet is placed on the hole, leaving an area of 60 meters square. If the length of the carpet is twice its width, determine the width of the carpet. Now we know area is length times width. Now if the width is x and I've been told that the length is twice the width, so the length will be 2x. So 2x times x, we get an area of 72. This is because we are subtracting that area of 136 meters square minus the area that the carpet has left, that is 64 meters square, to get 72. Now we solve and we get our x is 6 and our x is the width, and we have been asked the width, so the width is 6 meters. A cow is 4 years and 8 months older than a heifer. The product of their age is 8 years. Determine the age of the cow and that of the heifer. Now, the age of the cow, assuming that the heifer is x years old, the age of the cow will be x plus 4 and 2 over 3 x. Now solving this equation, we find that x is 4 over 3 years. Now relating, this means that the heifer is 1 and a third years, or 1 year and 4 months old, while the cow is 6 years old. Solve the simultaneous equation. Now here we have been given 3x is equals to minus y is equals to 9. Now what is the value of y? So we make x 3x cross the equal sign, so that it becomes negative y is equals to 9 minus 3x, and then divide -1 on both sides so that we have the value of y becomes 3x minus 9. Now in the second equation, equate for the value of y 3x minus 9, and then we solve the equation. We find that x is either a half or 4. Now when x is a half, y is -7.5, and when x is 4, y is 3. Murimi and Naliaka had each 840 tree seedlings. Murimi planted equal number of seedlings per row in X rows, while Naliaka planted equal number of seedlings in X plus 1 rows. The number of seedlings planted by Murimi in each row were 4 more than those planted by Naliaka in each row. Calculate the number of seedlings Murimi planted in each row. Now here, if we relate the number of seedlings Murimi and Aliaka planted, assume Aliaka we have been told planted X, so 840 divided by X minus 840 divided by X plus 1, that of Murimi, we find that the difference is 4. So sorry for that mix-up. It is the first one is for Murimi, 840 divided by x, and the next one is for Naliaka, 840 divided by x plus 1. We get that the difference is 4. Now solving for x, so what is x? We get that x is 14 seedlings. So Murimi planted 14 seedlings per row. An institution intended to buy a certain number of chairs for 16,200 shillings. The supplier agreed to offer a discount of 6 shillings per chair, which enabled the institution to get 3 more chairs. Taking X as the original intended number of chairs, write down the expression in terms of X for the original price per chair. So the original price per chair will be 16,200 divided by X. Part 2 webinar, the price per chair after discount. The price per chair after discount will be 16,200 divided by 3. Now, Part B webinars, determine the number of chairs the institution originally intended to buy. Now here we shall have 16,200 divided by x minus 16,200 all over x plus 3 should be equal to the discount. It means if we take the price of the chair as it was sold originally and the price per chair after the discount, we should get that discount of 16. Now solving the equation, we get that x is equals to 27 chairs. That was the price the institution originally intended to buy the chairs. So that's the number of the chairs the institution intended originally to buy. Now, after they have been offered the discount, what will be the price per chair? You take 16,200, take the original number of chairs, they were 27, plus the additional 3 because of the discount. So the number of chairs becomes 30. So 16,200 divided by 30, you get that the price per chair after discount was 540 shillings. And then part 3 have been asked, the amount of money the institution would have saved per chair if it bought the intended number of chair at a discount of 15%. Now the institution was to buy 27 chairs before the discount made them buy additional of 3. So the price per chair, the price for 27 chairs per chair, if the chairs were 27, would have been 600 shillings. Now a discount of 15 per chair would have been 90 shillings. Now the discount that had been offered was 60. So 60 subtract 60 from 90, get that the institution would have saved 30 shillings per chair. The roots of a quadratic equation are x is equals to negative 3 over 5 and x is equals to 1. Form the quadratic equation in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c is equals to 0, where a, b, and c are integers. Now it means we work back. If you have been told x is equals to negative 3 over 5, we can work back and say x is equals x plus 3 over 5 is equal to 0, and also x minus 1 is equals to 0. Now we bring the equations together. We have x minus 3 over 5 multiplied by x minus 1 is equals to 0. And then we expand the equation. It becomes 5x squared plus 2x minus 3 is equals to 0. A photograph print measures 24 centimeter by 15 centimeter, is enclosed in a frame. Sorry for reading wrongly. A photograph print measuring 24 centimeter and 15 centimeter is enclosed in a frame. A uniform space width of x centimeter is left in between the edges of the photograph and the frame. If the area of the space is 270 centimeters square, find the value x. Now here it means we shall have to calculate the original area of the frame, which is 24 times 15, less the area of the photo. The area of the photo will be the original the original area of the frame, the dimension of the frame less the space in between. So this means that the length will be 24 minus 2x, the width will be 15 minus 2x. Now if you solve that equation, we find that x is 4 over 5. So the value of x is 4 over 5. Use completing the square method to solve 3x squared plus 8x minus 6 is equal to 0. Correct to 3 significant figures. Now for that equation, in order to solve for the completing square, we have to divide across the equation by 3, so that to make the value before x squared to be 1. After doing that, we add a half of 8 over 3 squared across on both sides of the equation. After doing that, we simplify the equation. After simplifying the equation, we take the root of the equation on both sides. After taking the root of the equation on both sides, we take 8 over 6 to the other side of the equal sign. And after doing that, we find that the value of x is either 0.6103 or 3.277. If we write to the three significant figure, it will be 0.610 or 3.28. Solve the equations. Now we shall try to find the value of y for the first equation, x plus 3y is equal to 13. So if we do so, we find that y is equal to 13 over 3 minus x over 3. Now in the second equation, for the value of y, we shall substitute the figure 13 over 3 minus x over 3. And then solve for the equation, we find that x is either negative 5 or 6. Now this means that when x is negative 5, y is 6. And when x is 6, y is 2 and a third. The average speed of a pickup is 20 km per hour faster than the average speed of a lorry. The pickup took 45 minutes less than the lorry to cover a distance of 180 km. A. If the speed of the lorry was x km per hour, 1. Write expressions in terms of x for the time taken by the lorry and the pickup respectively to cover the distance of 180 km. 2. Determine the speed of the lorry and that of the pickup. B. The distance between towns A and B is 240 km. On a certain day, the pickup started from town A at 8:30 a.m. and the lorry started at town B at the same time. Determine the time the lorry and the pickup met. Now let's solve part A first. Part A1, we have been asked to write time. We know time is distance over speed. Now for the car, the time will be the distance for all the vehicles. The distance is 180. So for the car, the time will be 180 all over its speed x plus 2. And for the lorry, the time will be 180 all over its speed x. Now, part A2, we have been asked to determine the speed of the lorry and that of the pickup. Now we know the two vehicles, the time between them for the same distance is 45 over 60. So we equate the time. We got the time for the car was 180 all over x plus 20, and that overall was 180 over x should be equal to 45 minutes or 45 over 60 hours. Now when we solve that equation, we find that x is 60, which means the lorry takes a speed of 60 km per hour, and that of a car will be 60 plus 2. So the question asks for the speed of the lorry. It is speed of the lorry will be 60 plus 20, which is 80 km per hour. Is that okay? No, ignore what I have written. It should be the reverse. The roll is slower. So the roll will be 60 and the car will be 20. So even in part A, there's a slight mistake where you say the speed of the car is 180 all over x plus 2, should be 180 all over x plus 20. So the car takes 80 kilometer per hour, and the lorry takes 60 kilometer per hour. Part B, we have been told the distance between town A and B is 240 kilometer. On a certain day, the pickup started at A, the lorry started at town B. Now, at what time do they meet? Now we know because these vehicles are traveling towards each other at their speed will the relevant speed will be equal to the sum of their speed. So we take 80 plus 60. It means that the vehicles are approaching each other at 240 kilometers per hour, and the speed, and we know time is equal to distance over speed. So the speed they are approaching at each other is 140. That is 80 plus 60, and the distance is 240. So this vehicle must meet at 1 and 5/7 hours, or 1 hour and 43 minutes. Now, since they all started the journey at 8:30, add 1 hour and 43 minutes to 8:30, we find that this vehicle will meet at 10:13 a.m. Kering purchased 2x minus 1 identical pens for 180 shillings. Naraya purchased 3x plus 1 identical pens for 200 shillings. Write the expression for 1, the price of 1 pen, 2, the price of 1 pencil. Now the price of 1 pen will be 180 all over 2x minus 1. The price of 1 pencil will be 200 all over 3x plus 1. But we have been asked, the pen costs 4 shillings more than a pencil. Form an equation to represent the equation, to represent the information above, and hence solve for x. Now the equation will be 180 all over 2x minus 1 minus 200 all over 3x plus 1 should be equal to 4. Now when we solve, we find that x is 3. Now participants have been asked, later the price of a pen went up by 25%, while that of a pencil remained unchanged. A school spent the same amount of money on the purchase of pens as that spent on pencils. The total number of both pens and pencils bought was 48. Determine the number of pens bought by the school. Now here we shall derive a question, and it will be x over 15. X is the number of pens or pencils bought, because we are told it was the same. So x divided by 15, which is the new price of pen, plus x divided by 8, the price of pencil, we should get 16. Now solving, we get that x is 240. That's the price spent to purchase either pens or pencils. Now dividing that price by the price per pen, which is 15, we get that the school bought 15 pens. Solve for x. X minus 4 squared is equals to x minus 8 multiplied by 2x plus 7. If we solve that quadratic equation, we get that x is either 2.25 or negative 2.25 or 6. Now John cycled from home to school at an average speed of 2x minus 3 km per hour. Peter walked 2 2.4 kilometer from home to school at an average speed of x kilometer per hour. Peter took 16 minutes less than John. Determine the time in minutes that John took to reach at the school. Now here we shall equate the time for each person. Like the time John took will be 6 divided by 2x minus 3, and the time that Peter took will be 2.4 divided by e speed x. Now I've been told this, the time between them was 16. Now if you equate the time between them to be 16, and then we solve for x, we find that uh, John took 6/9 hours. Multiplied by 60, you get that is 40 minutes. The expression ax squared minus 30x plus 9 is a perfect square, where a is a constant. Find the constant. Now, if you solve this equation, you find that a is 25. A rectangular plot measures 50 meters by 24 meters. Along a rectangular in shape, sorry for reading wrong, a rectangular plot measures 50 meters by 24 meters. A lawn rectangular in shape is situated inside the plot with a path surrounding it as shown in the figure below. The width of the path is x meters between the length of the lawn and those of the plot, and 2x meters between the width of the lawn and those of the plot. Form and simplify an expression in x for the area of the lawn. Now you can see the equation for the area of the lawn will be 50 minus 4x multiplied by 24 minus 2x, and then simplifying, it becomes 1200 minus 196x plus x squared. Now the path will be 50 times 20 minus now that of the area of the lawn, which is 1200 minus 196x plus 8x squared. So that simplifying that, the area of the path is 196x minus 8x squared. But we have been told the area of the path is 1.5 meters, the area of the lawn. Form an equation in x and hence solve for x. Now this means that we shall multiply the area of the lawn by 1.5 and then relate it to the area of the path. Solving, we get that the our x is 9/2. Now, but we have been told determine the perimeter of the lawn. The perimeter we know is 2 into length plus width. The length is 50 minus 4x, the width is 24 minus 2x. Solving that, we know our x is 9/2. Solving for that, we get that the perimeter is 94 meters. Solve for n. Now here we shall cross multiply so that we have 6n times n and n minus 1 times 25. And then solving, we find that n is either 1 and 2/3 or 2.5. The perimeter of a rectangle is 48 centimeter, while its area is 108 centimeters squared. Form a quadratic equation to represent the information and hence determine the dimensions of the rectangle. Now here we have two equations, that of perimeter and that of the area. Now we start with the perimeter. If we solve for perimeter, we find that the length will be equal to 24 minus W. Now we go to that of the area. Area, we know it is length times width. But we know the length is equal to 24 times W. So substitute 24 times W for the value of length, and then this should be equal to the area we have been given of 108 centimeters squared, and then we solve for W. We get that W is equal to 6. So that the dimension of the rectangle will be 18 times 6, because the length is 24 minus W. So 24 minus 6 is 18, and the W itself is 6. So length times width is 18 times 6. Or the Neema went to the market to buy bananas worth 2,100 shillings for a school. The seller offered a discount of 3 shillings per banana, which enabled Neema to buy 35 more bananas. Taking X shillings as the price per banana before discount, write the expression for the number of bananas that Neema would have bought before the discount. So the number that she would have bought before the discount is 1,200 all over X. Part B, the actual number of bananas that Neema bought after discount. The actual number is 2,100 all over X plus 5. Part B, form an equation in terms of X and then determine the actual number of bananas Neema bought. So the equation will be 2,100 all over X plus 35 minus 2,100 all over X is equal to 3. So you can see I've done something wrong in part 2. It should be 2,100 all over X plus 35, not 5. Just ignore that 5. Okay. Now with that you can proceed. Now part B, you have been told form an equation in terms of X and then determine the actual number of bananas bought by Neema. Now you can see that equation 2,100 all over X plus 35 minus 2,100 all over X should be equal to should be equal to 3 shillings. Now solving that equation, we get that the actual number of bananas she bought was 175 bananas. Now, particularly have been asked, the bananas were given to students in the school. 2/5 of the students got 2 bananas each, while the rest got a banana each. Determine the number of students in the school. Now, let's assume the number of students is x. Now, 2/5 of x multiplied by 2 bananas plus the remaining, which is 3/5 x multiplied by 1 banana, we should get the total number of bananas, which is 175. Now, solving for x, we get that x is 125, which means that the number of students in that school is 125. I've written there x is 175. Just ignore that, should be 125 if you solve x. This means that like we have 4x plus 3x, that is 7x is equals to 875. Divide by 7 on both sides, get 125. The length and the width of a rectangular floor of a room is 10 meters and 7 meters respectively. A rectangular carpet of area 28 meters square is placed on the floor. The carpet left a uniform space of X with each of the walls of the room. Form a quadratic equation in X and hence solve for X. So the area of the carpet is length times width. The area we have been given as 28. The length is 10 minus 2x, that is the space left, and the width is 7 minus 2x, that is the space left. If you multiply that, we solve and we get x is 1.5. That's the space left between the carpet and the wall.